Welcome to Unit 2. Now that we've gotten past the original groups and foundings of the Reformation and of the original Christianity growing out of the New Testament, we're going to see Christianity moving into a variety of different areas. The first group we're looking at today are the Anabaptists, or the Mennonites. They began in 1525 as the students of Ulrich Zwingli wanted to take the reform beyond what the city council was comfortable with. They said they needed to form the church regardless of what the government said, and so their emphasis on religious liberty and of a recovery of believers' baptism becomes extremely important. They were a decentralized movement that formed a variety of different branches. Groups such as the Hutterites or the Amish or the Mennonites are part of the Anabaptist movement. Next, we'll look at the Anglican Church, or Episcopalians as they're called in the United States. Forming in 1534 with Henry VIII, who had been given the title Defender of the Faith by the Pope because he wrote a treatise against the Lutherans, decided to break with Rome when his divorce was an inconvenience to the Pope. And so we have the beginnings of the Church of England. After the U.S. Revolution, it took on the term Episcopalians here in the United States. Next, we'll look at the Congregationalists. The Congregationalists started forming about the 1580s during the reign of Elizabeth I. After Henry died, his son Edward became king and the church became a lot more Protestant. He died young and Bloody Mary came to the throne. She reverted the church back to Catholicism in England, and when she died in 1558, it went back to being sort of Protestant. It looked Catholic but had Protestant theology. And there were those that wanted to stay in the church to continue to reform it. They were called Puritans. Those that thought the church was too broken and they needed to separate were called separatists. And it was during this time that these groups began to develop their own congregations. It was the separatists that were on the Mayflower that came over in 1620, followed later by the Massachusetts Bay Company, who were Puritans. Of course, when you're on the other side of the ocean, it really doesn't matter whether you think the Church of England is broken or not, because there is no Church of England in the colonies, at least not yet. So we'll look at that particular group of the Congregationalists and how they developed over time. And then finally, we'll look at the Baptists. The Baptists emerged out of English separatism under the influence of the Anabaptists, beginning on one branch about 1609, and then with the other branch of the family about 1638. So we'll see how the Baptists developed. Well, that'll finish us on the halfway point. You're almost done by the time you get done with this unit, so hang in there. You can do this.